Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. It is 6:30 a.m. 27 July, the year 2023. Welcome to the Wolfman method. We have done the introduction. We have done just sitting. We have done allowing channeled speech. We have done just standing. We have done allowing channeled motion. So today's lesson is the blending of channeled speech and channeled motion. So at this point, you have been just sitting for long enough that channeling has started to arise naturally. You have probably had the experience of like, oh, I'm channeling, and then maybe you write something down that's really cool, or you capture it whatever way you capture it, come up with some really good stuff. Some really good stuff comes through the channeling, and then there's a dry spell, and you start to wonder whether or not you're doing the right thing. And you are, as long as you're just sitting. Because it wasn't ever you channeling in the first place. Except that it was, right? But the part of you that is wondering whether you're doing the right thing or not was not the one that was channeling. You were just sitting. And the channeling is sort of happens to you. So then you've been just sitting and channeling long enough that you started to feel some confidence in the channeling, and you're like, cool, this is good. This is channeling, it's happening. I can fairly consistently sit down, not every time maybe, but I'm confident in my ability to sit down and open up, and that something, whatever's necessary, will channel through me. And you become comfortable with the idea of long periods of silence, and you're able to sit down and feel, if I sit for an hour and nothing comes through, that's fine, because whatever is meant to come through will come through. And sometimes that's just silence, and it's just energy. You can feel the energy. You can consistently feel the energy. Maybe you had a lot of stuff, and so maybe instead of channeling, what happens when you sit down is that your stuff comes up. Irritation, and then you think, oh, well, I've got to relax so that I'm not irritated. But then you realize, no, I don't have to relax so that I'm not irritated. The irritation is fine. The irritation is just energy moving, and it's not bad to be irritated. Sometimes when you're sitting, the energy needs to move. And of course, we don't want to be irritated, at least at first, but we come to realize that sometimes when you sit, what comes up is irritation, and it's just process. And so you do relax, but you relax because there's nothing to do. You're just sitting, and intentionally relaxing so that you don't feel irritated and you feel happy instead is not just sitting, it's doing. And so you relax because there's nothing to do. The irritation is happening to you, and you are just sitting. And that's just one example, but these ups and downs come. Okay, so then you're like, good, channeling. I've got that, maybe not mastered, but I'm ready for the next thing. So then I say, all right, add an hour of standing. When you add an hour of standing, same thing. You just stand. It's a little bit more difficult than just sitting, trying to squeeze that extra hour of practice into the day. If you're up to 2 hours of practice, one of just sitting, where you're allowing channeled speech to come through, and now you're allowing channeled motion to come through, and you're just standing practice. And so maybe you're moving around for an hour, maybe you're dancing, but without music. You can do dance with music, but you really want to turn the music off at some point and just hear it. And there is music that comes through. You will potentially hear music, even though you haven't put any on the speakers. From where it comes, I do not know. But you hear the music of the cosmos, or the rhythm of the cosmos, and the spirits move through you, and your body moves, and maybe they speak. And so at this point, to have a lesson in blending channeled speech and channeled motion almost seems redundant, because if you're allowing things this much to this point, and your experience has gone anything like mine, then while you were just standing, the channeled speech did not stop. And so when the channeled movement started, the channeled speech was already going. And so it's been a blending process. But at this point, if you are not doing both at once, then the next step should be that there is channeled speech and channeled motion happening at the same time. And this is a good time to remember the main tenet of the Wolfman method, which is don't force it, don't fight it. So if you're not having channeled movement, that's fine. Just continue your standing practice. And if you stand long enough and you don't fight it, the movement will come. And the speech is probably already coming. And so when the movement comes, it will probably already be blending into the speech. But if that hasn't happened, continue standing and adjust your expectations and your intentions slightly, and have the intention and the expectation that there will be speech and movement at the same time. Sometimes. Maybe expectation is too strong of a word. Expectation is definitely too strong of a word. So maybe don't have an expectation, but have a gentle intention to allow and to invite even. You can even invite it. Spirit to speak through you and to move your body. And at this point, the speech and the motion will be blended. And that's the last thing that you have to do. And you're doing every step of the Wolfman method except for meditating before you sleep. And so I'm going to go ahead and include meditation before you sleep in this lesson because it's pretty simple. You're laying down, you've put away all the electronics, you've turned off all the lights. You're sleeping in the dark. So then you tell yourself how much time you have to sleep. Out loud, preferably. You say to yourself something along the lines of, I'm getting ready to go to sleep. I have to wake up in 8.5 hours or whatever it is. Just holding the gentle intention to just lie here and allow all of the channels to open. To let as much cosmic energy, source energy, the energy that creates worlds, flow into me and through me, formlessly, without words or speech. I just intend to lie here and allow this formless energy to flow through me, and to flow into me, and to flow out of me, and to overflow me. and to restore me and to recharge me so that I can wake up fully in the current of source energy, fully charged, fully restored. And then imagine yourself as a sphere, and a sphere of pure consciousness. It can look however, color, texture, doesn't matter, but it's connected to everything else through tendrils. And these tendrils are thoughts and stories and relationships that you have with the world. And you withdraw all your tendrils into the sphere, and you're just a perfect sphere of consciousness that is completely disconnected from the world, bathing in a sea of formless energy. And then you just lay there until you fall asleep. In the morning you wake up and you're still just laying there. One way that you'll know that it's working is you'll wake up before your alarm clock goes off, if you have an alarm clock, or before it's time to wake up, time to get out of bed if you don't use an alarm clock. And so you'll wake up in the morning and you'll just be feeling the isness and the bliss of being alive and being conscious with no resistance. And that's how you know it's working. So that's the final lesson of the Wolfman method. And then now's the point where it's appropriate to remind you that all of these methods are for formal practice, and when the formal practice ends, the rest of your life begins, and the rest of your life is taken as a practice. And so when you are done with the formal practice, it's good in your own words to set the intention that I am just going to exist, and the divine or spirit or God or the universe is going to express through me. And that means I'm going to move, and I'm going to speak, and I'm going to pay bills, and I'm going to go to work, whatever it is that you do. But it won't be my small self doing it. I'm going to metaphorically sit in the front seat with my hands in my lap, and I'm going to allow the gentle pressure of guidance from source energy to be what's actually moving the controls. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to become comfortable with long periods of silence and stillness in my life. And then you'll find that this is completely impractical sometimes. You know, like, if you're anything like me, you'll find that, like, no, I'm the one with my hands on the wheel, and if I don't, I'll die. And so I work and I go through my life. But the practice is to become still until you can't stand it anymore, until you're too afraid of the consequences of not doing something and you have to do something. Or until spirit, hopefully, more and more often, it's not the impulse of fear that's guiding you anymore. It's that you sit with that fear and you don't take that action, and then you get quiet and you realize I didn't need to be afraid. Or you get quiet and spirit actually moves you. And you know what it feels like because of the formal practice, so that you're not doubting yourself as much. But, you know, doubts happen. Your process is going to be your process. Don't freak. Whatever happens, happens. And then you get up the next day. Let me back up. It's not that you get up the next day. You go to bed at night and you say, that was my day. And then you withdraw your tentacles into your sphere of consciousness. And, you know, you allow source energy to bathe you and to flow through you and to overflow you. And you wake up restored. And then you do your practice. And then you set your intention to just exist and to let the divine express through you, not to force and not to fight, and to become comfortable with long periods of silence and stillness, and you just exist. So that's the end of the Wolfman method, and this will be the last video in the Wolfman method. As I said before, as my recording capabilities and equipment are upgraded and improved, I will redo these videos. As my understanding of the Wolfman method, of which I am a student and not a master yet, improve, I will redo these. And I imagine that those things are going to dovetail. So I will get better physical equipment, and I will get better understanding as I practice and I go through this with you. And in between updating, I'm pretty sure that I will put out periodic videos. I don't know if they'll be weekly or monthly or bi-monthly. I'm not going to be Wolfman method on all my videos. I'm going to put out regular videos as well. I've been sort of consumed by the Wolfman method ever since it came through. But I am going to be putting out videos that are specifically for students of the Wolfman method, and which includes me. And I'm going to try to figure out some way to get question and answer into that. And so if you have questions about the Wolfman method, or if questions come up in your practice, let me know. And I will try to address them in the Wolfman method videos, but there will be more about how that's all actually going to work in the first Wolfman method video. So yeah, so if you're interested in that, it will be happening. I don't know, it'll be happening, and it'll be happening periodically, and I don't know for sure what the length of that period will be. I feel like weekly, but I also feel like weekly might be too much to ask of myself, and so may you be happy. May you be clear-minded. May your heart be happy. May your mind be clear. May you find satisfaction in all your endeavors. May you find ultimate satisfaction. Kon omne kon oyoko.